total clickbait.
He's got a lot of enemies right now.
Is it illegal to have orgies?
It's a very, very serious thing.
Today on episode 5 of The Lens, we're going to talk about P Diddy, his arrest, and the body cam footage that there might be or might not be around on the internet. Greg, what do you think about P Diddy?
Oh, what a wicked web we weave. I mean, I think he's in for a very uncomfortable ride here, definitely. I mean, it just, as the more information comes out, it's crazy. Not only what he's being accused of, but the implications of other famous people that are involved. It's wild.
So I was doing a little bit of research. I was looking on the web. There's one video titled, "Exclusive Body Cam Footage Shows Diddy's Arrest by the Feds." Now, this is total clickbait. There is no video footage of P Diddy being arrested by the feds on body cam. Why do you think that there isn't any body cam footage that we can get a hold of right now?
I think right now, I mean, just the magnitude of this case, and again, it's still unraveling as far as other people that are involved. They just don't want to compromise their case. This is my personal feeling. I know a lot of people are antsy and I would love to see this footage, but unless there was any type of accusations that Diddy was being abused by the officers, they're not going to release this stuff until they're ready to. They're probably cultivating witnesses, victims. There might be, evidence that's been caught that they don't want publicized just yet. They're just making the decision not to release it. I'm sure it's because of the integrity of the case. They'll release it when they're ready. It's unfortunate for those of us that really want to see, but we're just going to have to be patient.
One thing that's not clear to me is, when is it that you have the police arresting someone, and when is it that you have the FBI involved? Why is it that you have the FBI involved in this P Diddy case?
Well, the FBI gets involved when it's a federal case. Police officers can arrest people, for federal crimes, but the FBI is going to be the investigating entity, or DHS. This was their case. They put it together, so that's why they were there. I mean, a good example is a bank robbery. A bank robbery is a federal crime. The initial arrest is usually going to be officers if the suspect's still at the scene, or maybe there's a pursuit. But then ultimately that suspect will be turned over to the FBI, and the FBI will complete the investigation. And this is a federal crime. That's why.
And so he's being charged for 3 main things: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So let's go one by one. Can you elaborate, what is racketeering, conspiracy?
Racketeering is basically when, a good example of racketeering would be the mafia, famously the Italian mafia here in the United States. When you're disguising a criminal enterprise to be a legitimate business, that's racketeering. And a lot of heavy hitters in the U.S. mafias have fallen because of racketeering charges.
And what about sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion?
A lot of prostitutes are kind of conned into getting into prostitution by their handlers, the pimps. And so there's the fraud. They're being promised one thing, but then ultimately they get, crammed in this horrible lifestyle where they're being victimized. The trafficking, would be moving the girls or maybe even guys from one location to another. From what I understand, there's other countries involved in this investigation, so it may have been kind of an Epstein kind of a thing going on where, maybe he was facilitating activities in another country or bringing victims over from that other country to the United States to be victimized. But that's trafficking in a nutshell.
Okay. And transportation to engage in prostitution.
What I'm assuming that would be bringing the prostitutes to, say, his infamous parties.
The freak offs, pretty much.
The freak offs. Or like I said, in the case of Epstein's, the investigation with Epstein, they were flying the girls to his island. I mean, just the fact that there are other countries involved in this Diddy case, it could very well have been that as well.
So this is what I'm wondering. He's being charged in New York, correct? But didn't he also have parties in Florida and probably in other places around the world? Like, how's this going to work? Can he be charged in several states? Or are they going to...
Well, it's a federal crime. So, if it's like, say you commit a robbery in California, it would be the state of California is prosecuting you. In a federal crime, it's the federal government that is prosecuting you. So it doesn't matter what state you're committing the crime. If it's a federal crime, the weight of the federal government is coming down on you. So it's a very, very serious thing.
I'm just thinking about these freak offs, right? If everyone is above legal age, is it illegal to have orgies in some states?
No, it's not. But again, look at the charges. The sex trafficking, if and by fraud or force. So that would imply that these sex workers are being forced to engage in these activities with the people that are attending these parties. So the age of consent has nothing to do with it.
I'm curious when he's being accused of handing out drugs. So, like, how does it work when it comes to drug use? Like, it's illegal to sell drugs, right? Certain drugs. And I'm assuming it's illegal to consume drugs. So I guess it's also illegal to give drugs for free to people?
Well, yeah, it's illegal. And again, based on just what I've heard on these news reports, he was coercing the people to take the drugs. He was more or less forcing them to take it, with threats. And then if you're giving these drugs to people to dull their senses and to basically be able to victimize them sexually, this is, again, part of this big mess that he's got himself into and probably others into.
So it kind of makes you wonder, now there's stories about the family of Tupac Shakur. They might pursue more legal action against P Diddy, opening up the case. Do you think that, when there's smoke, there's fire, that maybe, after all, P Diddy was involved in the death of Tupac Shakur? Is there a possibility there's a link?
Evidence of that crime, and maybe they're talking about Biggie Smalls as well. Yeah, homicides, there's no statute of limitations on a homicide. I've been called to trial on homicide cases where the crime actually occurred like 15, 20 years ago. So there's no statute of limitations in the United States for homicide, for murder. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. He's in a big mess.
Crazy stuff. So what do you think is going to happen? How are things going to move forward if you had to guess? Do you see him spending time in jail, or is he going to magically disappear?
I don't think he's going to magically disappear unless he magically disappears like Epstein did. He may make himself disappear, or someone may make him disappear. He's got a lot of enemies right now. A lot of really, really big names are kind of shaking in their boots, and figure the folks that he was associating with. That industry, there's a lot of people that are, associated with gangs. That's no secret. Suge Knight, like, he's serving 28 years right now. He was a member of Pyru, and I mean, Snoop Dogg, he was affiliated with the LA Crips. So he's probably has a lot of people that are very unhappy with him that don't want their names getting out there. So I don't know. And I'm sure that, the feds will maybe offer some type of deal to at least lower the charges if he cooperates with them and rolls on some other people who may have been involved in this. And I'm sure one of the reasons why we're not seeing body cam footage is they've probably already found names of people that they're seeking out and talking to right now, making deals with them.
Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to try our best to get the raw body cam footage. Hopefully it'll be released in the coming months or in the coming years. As soon as we can get our hold on it, we'll put it on this channel and we'll have you do a deep dive analysis of that footage.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
All right, till next time, everyone, please subscribe to this channel and check out these other great videos.